Have you ever looked at your garden calendar and thought, well, I guess I'm too late this year? Maybe you flipped through a planting guide, saw a date that already passed, and set the seedlings back down. Wait, before you put those seedlings away, you need to know something. Your calendar may be telling you it's too late, but your garden may be telling you something completely different. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how experienced gardeners decide whether it's actually too late to plant, and the simple calculation that can completely change the way you think about planting. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to look at that empty bed a little differently. The surprising truth. Here's the truth most planting calendars won't tell you. They're a guide, not a rule book. They're written for an average year, in an average location, for an average gardener. But your garden isn't average. It's yours. So instead of asking, what month is it? Ask 3 questions instead. How many days does this crop need to mature? What is my local growing weather doing right now? And how long will those conditions realistically stay favorable? That's it. That's the whole shift. To gardeners, to states apart, can plant the exact same crop weeks apart from each other and both be exactly on time. Because it was never really about the date on the calendar. It was about the days ahead of them. Which brings us to the number that matters most, days to maturity. The simple days left calculation. This is the tool I want you to walk away with today. Write it down if you need to. Days remaining in favorable growing conditions minus days to maturity equals your planting window. Let's make it simple. Say, you've got roughly 70 favorable growing days left before conditions turn against you, and the crop you're eyeing needs 50 days to mature. 70 minus 50 is 20. You're not too late. You've actually got a 20-day cushion. But here's the part: experienced gardeners never skip the safety margin. Weather doesn't always cooperate. Pests show up uninvited. Growth slows when nights turn cool or when a plant gets stressed. So smart gardeners don't plant right up to the edge of their window. They leave themselves a little room, just in case. That one calculation is more useful than any date printed on a seed rack. Keep it in your back pocket, because we're going to build on it for the rest of this video. Factor number 1. Your local weather. So why can't the calendar just tell you the whole story? Because your garden doesn't read calendars. It reads weather. Think about everything actually happening around your plants right now, and temperature, frost risk, heat stress, soil temperature, rainfall, and simply how long your favorable growing period is going to last from here. A seed packet might say plant in spring, but if your soil is still cold, that seed is just going to sit there, stubborn, waiting. And on the other end, a crop that loves cool weather can stall out completely the moment real heat arrives. Here's a line worth remembering: your garden doesn't know what month it is. Your plants respond to conditions, not the page of a calendar. Conditions, temperature, moisture, daylight, that's the language your garden actually speaks. Once that clicks, the whole too late question starts to look different. Factor number 2. Choose fast maturing crops. So let's say your window is shorter than you'd like. That doesn't mean you're out of options. It means you choose differently. Some crops are long season commitments. They need a long, steady stretch of favorable weather from start to finish. Others are medium season comfortable, but not exactly speedy. And then there are the quick crops, the ones built for a short runway. Leafy greens tend to move fast. So do radishes, some bush beans, and turnips. Now, exact timing always depends on your location and the specific variety you choose. Nothing here is one size fits all, but the pattern holds true almost everywhere. Shorter time to harvest means more forgiving of a shorter window. When time is tight, you're not stuck. You're just choosing a different kind of crop for a different kind of window. Factor number 3. Look for days to maturity. Now here's something so simple that most gardeners walk right past it every single time they're at the garden center. Don't just look at the picture on the front of the packet. Turn it around. Right there, usually in small print, you'll find the 2 words that matter more than almost anything else on that packet. Days to maturity. That number tells you, roughly, how long that crop needs from planting to harvest. It's the exact number you plug into the calculation we talked about earlier. Now, a word of caution: that number is an estimate, not a promise. Weather, soil, and care all nudge it up or down. But as a starting point for deciding whether you have enough time left, it's the most honest number on the whole packet. Next time you're holding a seed packet, flip it over first. That one habit changes everything. The big mistake gardeners make. Here's where many gardeners make the mistake. They think planting late means they have to grow the same crops they would have planted at the beginning of the season, just later. That's the trap. Because if you try to force a long season crop into a short window, you're setting yourself up for disappointment before you even put the seed in the ground. A late planting strategy needs to look different from an early one. It's not about repeating the same plan on a delay. It's about matching the right crop with the right variety in the right location to the growing conditions you actually have left. This is the real shift I want you to take from this video. Stop asking, is it too late to plant what I originally planned? And start asking, what can I do with the time I actually have? That single change in mindset turns a discouraging moment into a genuinely useful planning session. What about transplants? Now, some of you are thinking, what if I start with a transplant instead of a seed? Doesn't that buy me time? Often, yes. A transplant is already a few weeks into its life, compared to direct sowing a seed and waiting for it to germinate and establish roots. A transplant can give you a genuine head start. But let's talk about seedlings, transplants, and direct sowing honestly, because each has its own considerations. Direct sown seeds build their root systems right where they'll live, with no disruption. Transplants skip ahead in age, but they pay for it with the stress of being moved, what gardeners call transplant shock. And here's the important warning. A larger plant isn't automatically a better plant. A stressed transplant can lose the advantage you thought you gained. If the roots don't settle in well, that head start can turn into a setback instead. So transplants are a tool, a good one, but not a magic shortcut. Use them thoughtfully, and give them the gentle handling they need to actually keep that early advantage. How to find your personal planting window. Let's turn everything we've covered into something you can actually use. A repeatable system. Here's the 5-step test. Step 1. Check your local growing conditions right now: temperature, soil moisture, and how much favorable weather is realistically ahead of you. Step 2. Check the crop days to maturity, right there on the seed packet. Step 3. Count the favorable growing days you realistically have left, not the ideal number, the honest number. Step 4. Add a safety margin, because delays happen to every gardener, every season. Step 5. Decide whether that crop is genuinely worth planting right now or whether a different crop makes more sense for the time you have. You don't need to memorize hundreds of planting dates for hundreds of crops. You need to understand how to make the decision yourself. Once you have this system, you can apply it to literally anything in your garden, in any location, in any year. The empty garden bed opportunity. Let's go back to where we started, that empty garden bed. An empty bed doesn't necessarily mean the season is over. Often, it means something else entirely, an opening. This is where succession planting comes in, replacing a crop you've already harvested with something new. It's about filling gaps instead of leaving them bare. And it doesn't have to be a full garden bed either. Containers, raised beds, even a small sunny corner can all hold a quick, well-timed planting. Here's the line I want you to sit with. An empty garden bed isn't always a sign that you missed your opportunity. Sometimes it's an invitation to use the space differently. That empty patch of soil isn't a failure. It's just waiting for its next decision. When it really is too late. Now, I have to be honest with you. Because good information means telling you the truth. Not just what feels encouraging. Sometimes, it really is too late. And knowing when to say wait is just as important as knowing when to plant. That's the case when your remaining growing season is genuinely too short for even a quick crop. When frost is closing in fast. When extreme heat will prevent young plants from ever establishing. When a crop simply needs more time than you realistically have left. Or when your soil and weather conditions just aren't going to cooperate. No matter how you plan around them. Good gardening isn't about planting everything. It's about knowing what has a realistic chance to succeed. And honestly, recognizing that is what separates a frustrated gardener from an experienced one. So let's bring this all together. Don't measure your planting season by the calendar. Measure it by the crop's days to maturity and your local growing conditions. Just 3 questions every time. How many days do I have? How many days does this crop need? And are my growing conditions good enough to support it? That's the entire framework. No memorization. No guesswork. Just 3 honest questions. asked before you ever put a seed or a seedling into the ground. Once you understand those 3 questions, you stop guessing and you start deciding. And if you want to know what you can still plant, how to protect the garden you already have, and the simple gardening decisions that can give you more from the space you're already growing in, subscribe to the Evergreen Seniors. Because you're not too late just because the calendar says so. Sometimes, you just need to know what to plant next.